So for about a month now I've been putting off this video because I was afraid of the backlash I was going to get. I was just kind of concerned with what the outcome of it would be. I don't really know how to start this because if you know me pretty well, you know I'm not really a serious person. A lot of you know, I guess, that, I've pretty much been bullied my entire life. Like, there wasn't really a year that someone left me alone. I was kind of just always the target, which is fine, bullying is a thing that happens. This particular thing, it changed me, it broke me, and it almost ended me. The reason I want to talk about this is because if someone hears about what I went through and realizes that, wow, she got through it and she is okay and she is making it past that awful time in her life, then maybe I can help save someone's life. I realized that some people are going to look at this video and be like, wow, she's just looking for attention, looking for views, and that's fine. You can think whatever you want, but for me personally, if I even think for a second that I can help someone by putting this out there, then I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to care what anyone says anymore about it. Okay, so my sophomore year of high school started out fine. I had just transferred back into my old high school from being at another high school for like 2 months. I didn't like it, so I went back to my old high school. At the beginning of the year, I saw this guy. So I was like, wow, he's really attractive, but I don't think he'll ever talk to me. About March, he had asked me for my number over Instagram or something, so I gave it to him because I was like, yeah, you're attractive, And let's just call him Luke. Yeah, we'll just call him Luke for the sake of identity. So Luke and I started talking, and it was about a week where we started talking, and he asked me if I wanted to hang out with him after school. I was like, yeah, that's fine, I'll stay after school with you. And so we meet up after school, and I'm really excited because he's really attractive to me at this point, and turns out he was a freshman, but that didn't really bother me because I was like, hey, he's an attractive guy, he's nice to me, so it's cool. And he had a friend with him. He's like, hey, is it cool if my friend hangs out with us? I was like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. And so we went to the park because the way it was structured, there was a park next to the school building, so we went there after everyone had left. Some things happened that I'm not proud of, and I'm not going to go too into detail, but I had ended up alone in a bathroom with these two guys, and I felt very pressured to do something that I had never done before. Then after that, they were like, oh, well, we have to go now. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I called my mom. I was like, okay, I need to be picked up now because I didn't drive. And so my mom picked me up. Everything was okay. I kind of was like, what did I just do? But I didn't talk to anyone about it, of course. I had a few friends that had warned me not to hang out with him, and I didn't listen. This was a week before my birthday, my 16th birthday. He just kind of got really distant and was being really mean to me. So his friend, one of his really good friends, we'll just call him Drew, why not? So Drew comforted me, he's like, hey, do you want to hang out? Drew had lived next to my friend, I'll call her Rachel. Yeah, we'll just call her Rachel. So Drew and Rachel had lived close by each other, so I was like, oh, that's fine. Like, I'll go hang out with Drew and Rachel for my birthday, and that'll be what I do. Drew and I had some time alone because Rachel went home. She left. Luke, from before, was at his house with a bunch of his friends, and he had called me, and he's like, hey, come over. And I was like, no, I'm with someone. And he's like, oh, who are you with? And he kept asking me and asking me and asking me. And then he called Drew, and Drew answered his phone, and Luke heard me in the background, and he's like, okay, both of you can come over. And I was like, who's over there? And he's like, oh, there's about like 20 guys and me. And I was like, no thank you, my mother's picking me up soon, I'm good. And there were a bunch of people in the background. They're like, tell that slut to get over here, get that whore over here now, stop being a bitch, come over, hang out, it'll be fine. I was so shocked, and I kind of just hung up the phone. I was like, don't talk to me, And my mom picked me up. We went to the grocery store. We were at the grocery store, and I got a call from him, and he's like, hey, seriously, like, come over. I was like, no, you're being an asshole, and I'm not coming over, and we're not hanging out, and that's it. So we got into an argument, and he told me, he's like, well, don't be such a bitch to me because I have a video of what happened. And I kind of was just like, yeah, right, whatever, like, bye, and I hung up the phone. I didn't believe him, and then I walked into school that following Monday, and there were people staring at me. When you walk into a room and you can just feel that people are talking about you, that's how I felt everywhere I went. I, at one point, was walking down the hall, went into the bathroom after school and walked out, and I heard this group of guys, and I will never forget what they said. They said, hey, you remember Taylor? And he's like, oh, which Taylor? Oh yeah, the short Taylor that we had a class with in 8th grade. He's like, yeah, why? And he goes, yeah, haven't you heard she's such a slut now? She'll do basically anything with anyone. And I kind of just walked past them. They saw me and were like, oh shit. So this kind of went on for a while, and for a while people would ask me, hey, do you know so-and-so? Yes, I know so-and-so. Hey, are you the girl from the video? Yes, I'm the girl from the video. That was my life. I had drama at school and I had drama at home because I couldn't get my grades up because I was so distracted. And there were a bunch of guys. I started getting a lot of attention from guys. And for a while I kind of liked it. I was like, you know what, it's fine, it's whatever. This happened, I'm moving on. I'll talk to all these guys. It'll be good. So that's what I did. I started talking to a bunch of guys. At this time, I kind of just went with it. I was so done. I started wearing really, really low-cut tops and really, really pushed-up bras and caring more about my appearance at school. And I still continued to get a lot of attention from guys. There were a lot of rumors. Any guy that I was friends with or talking to apparently had sex with me. I was known for sleeping with my teachers to get my grades up when in fact my grades were still awful, and I had all female teachers, and the claim was that I had all male teachers because I switched so I could sleep with my teachers. I would go to bed and I would cry myself to sleep every night. I didn't want to talk to anyone. There was one person that I talked to at school and actually cared to talk to and trusted, and she is still my best friend to this day. Without her, I would not be here. Honestly, I would not have made it out of sophomore year. It was the end of the year, and I had started talking to Luke from before because I was naive. I started an unhealthy pattern with him where if he apologized and I believed it, I would start talking to him again. I, for some reason, thought I could trust him, and anytime that anything was said, anytime anything was sent, it was shown to a lot of people. So we got into an argument one day at school, after school in front of everyone. He kind of tried to make me feel inferior, like I was trapped, like I couldn't do anything, like I would never be able to get past him. So I told him, you know what, I'm done. This will be the last time that we speak, and I'm never coming back to you. And he kind of just stood there with a smirk. He just kind of looked at me and said, you'll never be done, and you'll always come back. And I just rolled my eyes, left, and I haven't talked to him since. There were still people that knew about the video. The video was still there. I'm pretty sure it's still out there somewhere. And I kind of just got used to that, to be honest. It's something that I did. I have to accept it, and I'm not getting anyone else involved in this, so I'll just let it be. I started getting my grades up a little and started kind of trying to move on. I started talking to this new guy who was super sweet. He was so different from all the guys from that year. And we went to the Springs with a friend that I had made and his friends on Memorial Day weekend. And it was great. I had a good time, and we decided to go into this restricted area. So we went there. We were by ourselves, just talking and stuff, and his friends and my friend were up on the hill above us. Then something hit me, literally hit me, and it was a rock, big rock, and I was rushed to the fire department across the street because we were about half an hour away from my house. My parents weren't able to reach me. My parents didn't even know I was there, to be honest. And I was rushed to the fire department. They were concerned that I had lost my eyesight. I was rushed in an ambulance to the ER. My parents were able to be contacted. My dad came. An ophthalmologist examined my eye, said, you're gonna need surgery, your iris is torn, you may lose your eyesight. A lot of tests were run on my head because it was determined as a head trauma. Some doctors were concerned and told my parents I might not even be able to live anymore. I may lose my eyesight. It was just a really bad, scary situation. After the ophthalmologist examined me, I was rushed in another ambulance to the Florida State Hospital. There I was prepped for surgery. I couldn't eat anything, I couldn't drink anything, and my eye is still kind of messed up because my pupil is larger than this one because my iris is torn. The first time I had seen my eye was when I came home the following Sunday. It happened on Friday. I came home on Sunday. And that was the first time I had seen my eye, and I just remember breaking down and I couldn't stop crying because I was so concerned with my looks. Not even the pain, but my entire life, loved my eyes. My eyes were my favorite thing about myself. They were really the only thing that I felt made me special. They were the only thing that kind of gave me a little bit of confidence because I've never been really confident in myself. So just the fact that had been ripped away from me overwhelmed me. It still kind of sucks that happened. After I got back from the hospital, I was in recovery for a while, and I spent a lot of time on Twitter. And one night, I came across one of those exposing thoughts pages for my school, and I found 2 pictures of me and a confession of what had happened earlier in the year. And I kind of felt broken again. I mean, I was in recovery for something that almost killed me, and then I had to deal with this again. In that moment, everything kind of just flooded back to the way it was. Every memory from the past year overwhelmed me, and I felt so trapped. Tears just came in. I got a bunch of texts from people. Some people I had barely talked to, some people I didn't even know were texting me, asking me, is this you? Is this you? Was that about you? Is that true? And it was just like everything flashed before my eyes. I went into the bathroom, locked the doors, ran a really, really hot bath, and for the first time took a blade to my wrist and just kept cutting and cutting until it was running out of space. And I just remember watching myself bleed and thinking that at least the pain from everything that happened was gone. Every memory started to fade, and I was just focused on the pain of that moment. And I didn't care about anything else that was going on. And I just remember I wanted to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Until finally I stopped, and I just sat there with my arm stinging, blood gushing out of my arm, and I just hoped. I looked up, I closed my eyes, and I just said, please, please make it end, please, just end it now. Sat there for a few hours, and for some reason it didn't end. I was still here. For a while that actually continued. Every now and then I would carry something in my purse, like nail clippers or something, and anytime I felt pain, or anyone said anything to me, or someone said something on Twitter, or there was a text message about it, I would just take the clippers to my skin and just sit back and watch all the pain transfer from my head into my arm. I couldn't stop, and I didn't tell anyone. I really don't know how I stopped, honestly, but for a while, all I wanted to do was die. I didn't see a point in living anymore. I didn't see a point in waking up and living life. I didn't see myself doing anything. I didn't see myself going out with friends. I completely isolated myself. For a while, I wouldn't even talk to my parents. I just became consumed by this feeling of pain and hurt, and how everything was just piled and piled on. And then one day, it just kind of got a little better, and day by day it kept getting a little better. I eventually opened up about some things to a few people that I trusted, and they helped me work through my problems. In order for you to get better, you have to surround yourself with people that will support you no matter what. I know this video was extremely different from what people are used to seeing from me and what I'm even used to from myself, but I just needed to say this. And if anyone is out there and you're watching this video and you feel like you don't have anyone and you can't talk to anyone, please contact me. I will see you guys next week, and just remember to stay strong. Barbie got hit by a truck and